So, all right. So Daniel here. I'm here with Peter, and we're 2 weeks into the mentorship program. So, how are you feeling so far, Peter? Haven't spoken to you since you started. You've been kind of almost every day with Scott. How are you feeling now?
Actually, I'm feeling great. I'm also a little tired, but I anticipated that. I knew that. But
Yeah.
no, I'm as you and Scott said it before it started. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm challenged
Okay. Good.
every day. Yeah. So that's a good feeling because I'm a little anxious every day before I get the call with Scott, but it's a good anxiousness because
Yeah.
it helps me focus. It helps me staying sharp and staying motivated, and so I really feel good about the program, and it's made me more fluent and more self-confident also in trading. And the big difference is that I trade more with more peace of mind. Actually, I'm not so emotionally attached anymore. So apart from what I learn with all the
Yeah.
setups and what learn in chart reading and documenting the trades, I
Yeah.
notice that it also helps me emotionally.
Yeah.
More
Feeling
detached.
detached from the outcome. And it's
Yeah.
honestly, I feel like it's impossible to ever get completely detached. For me, the larger the time frame, the more detached I am. But intraday, I still am. Oh, I want it to work. I still feel that. Do you feel like it's been more work than you thought, or that's been one of our concerns, is kind of overloading you guys with too much?
No, I don't feel overloaded. It's not too much work, but I realize that I probably have more time than the average guy or woman that wants to do this. But on the other hand, I knew that before, so I also made time. I really scheduled it. So when you want to do this boot camp, because it actually is a boot camp, it's not a summer school, it's a boot camp,
Yeah.
you have to really take that into account. You have to make time for it every day.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned, yeah, because you work from home, right? You run your own business. You don't go to an
Yeah,
office.
yeah,
Whereas if you have to, go in for an 8, 10 hour day and then do this, you could still do it, but you're in a good shape where you can,
yeah.
you know,
I'm in a good shape, but I do some work in organizations outside of my home. So
you still
from the
travel.
5 working days I have, yeah, I'm for 3 days I'm away, not the whole day, but parts of the day. But I plan them around our coaching calls. So
Nice.
I make sure I have enough time to practice every day.
Let me ask you, do you think everyone could do this, or do you think it's only someone that's, really serious, really a hardcore kind of trader?
I don't think everyone can do it. Scott told me, well, it's all about doing the work. It doesn't intelligence and passion and all that. It doesn't matter. And I'm not so sure about that. I think it's more for the hardcore trader, people who really have a passion doing this and feel they want to get it done no matter what. Then it's then for people that think, okay, I'd like to be a professional trader. Okay, let's try it. If you have the feeling, okay, let's try it, it's not enough. You really have to be determined to become to make the step from a hobby trader to a professional trader, to doing it nearly full time. And actually, I think that's the good part of it. I don't know what your aim is, but I think there's enough courses on the internet for people who are just starting and want to sniff and want to try, want to see what it brings them. But actually, what I was looking for and what I found here in this program is an in-depth course where you don't only learn to drive, and where you don't only get the theoretical and the practical knowledge, but I have someone, Scott or you, that really sits beside me also when I go on the highway, when I have my license, and someone sits next to me and really teaches me how to drive, because you cannot drive actually when you have the permit, when you have the license. You still have to learn to drive after you have done your exams, your tests. So I was looking for a program that could offer me just that. So I think you really, you have to be determined to make this program a success. And I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're going for. So I'm happy to hear that. We wanted it to be serious. We didn't want it to just be another beginner course. We wanted it to be, you've done the beginner stuff. Now it's time to, how do I do this as a professional? How do I trade every day, trade a system, follow it, stick with it? How's it been working with Scott? I know sometimes he can be a little bit of a hard ass. How's he been? I haven't joined any of the calls. I talk to him pretty much every day. I see him after a lot of the days. Sometimes he tells me that he was a little hard on you guys. How is he?
He's the cutest hard ass there is.
He's the what? The cutest hard ass he is?
The cutest hard ass there is, yeah.
That's funny. So
no, I can really work well with him. Because it is a boot camp. He teaches it as a martial arts mentor, which fits me. That it's a way that fits me. So you should be prepared for a criticism. You should be prepared to hear what you're not doing well and when you underperform. And Scott says it directly to me. And that's what I want to hear, because I don't want to be pampered, how you say it in English. I don't want to, I want to hear it straightforward.
Yeah.
How I'm doing.
Good.
Yes.
But he hasn't been unreasonable. He hasn't been, just mean for the sake of.
No, absolutely not. And he's also complimenting me when I do a great job. And the first time I made 8 mistakes. The very first time I was tape reading. And
yep, I saw that sheet. Yep.
Yeah, and he said, "Oh, well, bro, it sucks."
He had me take a look at it too. I saw it. It was, you missed ticks, and I asked him, like, what were the mistakes? You missed ticks, you missed stop losses. It was just every little thing was. And didn't you feel good after doing it? Right? You thought you did a good job after you did it.
Yeah, I thought, well, this is okay, I made a good start, but I didn't check it, you see. I didn't check the first time. That was my mistake, because I should have checked it. Yep. I could have found most of the mistakes myself. So after that first time, and after he said, okay, it sucks, I thought by myself, okay, Peter, let's check the next time you fill in the spreadsheets and you read the tape. Let's check it. And check it yourself before you send something to Scott and to Daniel. So I made progress.
It's good, though, to make mistakes. I think, especially early on in the process. It's, when you trade, you're going to make mistakes, and then you lose money, and you feel like crap, and how much you actually learn is debatable. Whereas here, it's a safe place to fail. It's like doing simulation in anything, whether you're, medical profession, flying, anything. You want to practice in a safe environment, make mistakes, fail. And this is even before a demo account. You're not even placing trades into a demo account, right? It's just spreadsheet right now. So it's building blocks of learning. And then you'll see it'll get even harder when you start first placing orders. All of a sudden you'll go from being perfect to making 10 mistakes again. Then it comes back to being perfect. Then you go live and you think, well, I've done this demo. You go back to making 10 mistakes again. And then you level off and then you get it. what else did I want to ask? How would you compare this just to the system building class? You did this. You did the system building class first, and the system building class does have, all, you could say everything we need. Do you feel like this adds value on top of it?
Oh, absolutely. A huge amount of value. I was thinking about that before we met here. Well, to cite the same example as I just gave, learning to drive. You get your permits, you pass your theoretical and your practice test, and then in theory you can drive. You're allowed to drive. So that's the system building class part. There's more than enough to start with trading in the system building class, and it's an absolute a world-class concept. There's many systems, there's many videos, there's many PDFs with knowledge, and of course there's the coaching calls with Scott as well. But so yes, you can drive and you can start to trade. But what I needed is someone to really criticize me if necessary, to really do the finesses of tape reading with me.
Yeah.
Real time. Take me along into being able to test what I'm doing in the spreadsheets. You of course have an important part there, because you deliver the spreadsheets and you solve the problems. So I need someone to be with me in the plane when I'm flying over hostile territory.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I felt I needed the same thing after it. Probably I traded for about 3 years before I went into kind of an active mentorship role. And after about 2, I felt I needed it, because I felt I was just spinning my wheels. It was just, I needed somebody to look over it and guide me in the right direction. Are you doing this correctly? Are you doing that correctly? So I can definitely relate to that. So are you confident kind of at this stage? It's early to tell, but do you think you'll get the result you're looking for? Which for us, the result was always, going from where you were, which wasn't a beginner level, which was a very intermediate advanced level, to trading a system, trading it professionally, trading it every day. Do you think you're on the right path for that?
Yeah, I'm absolutely confident. In the last week, I'm sure I will make it to a professional level, actually. And the most important factor there is that I have far more peace of mind than before I started this program.
That's what it is.
It's not about the knowledge. I'm not too stupid to understand, and I think most people have the intelligence to understand the system.
Yeah.
But I have peace of mind. I know which systems I would like to trade once we're onto that stage, to decide about that. I'm confident that I will have the ability in the near future to test my systems and to make sure that I'm profitable before I start with real money. And that was something I didn't have before I started with the program. I really didn't know how to test. Of course, I had an idea, but now I know how to execute it.
Right.
And now I also have the confidence that I can trade mechanically. So I just have a set of simple rules and I can execute them. And of course, I have feelings and I have shitty days and great days, but I'm confident now that it doesn't it doesn't influence my trading. I can follow the rules.
Yep.
I think that's maybe the most important difference.
Yeah, and the part that you mentioned that really caught my ear was having that peace of mind. I think when you're a professional trader, I think when I first started, I had this opinion that you're a professional because the money's just flying in.
Yeah.
And that's not it. That's not the professional part. It can happen, yes. It can be a byproduct of it, but it's more this feeling of you're not that stressed about where the market's going. You're not really worried about if it's a bear, if it's a bull. It's just you come in each day, you do your work, you're confident in what you're doing, and you know long term, 10, 20, 30 years, you have an edge. You're in the game, you're doing it right, you're going to be there for the long haul, and that just anxiety is gone, is that
Yeah.
super of, is it a bear? Is it going to go up? What about Amazon? Oh, I can't believe I missed out on Bitcoin. And then you start, right? You start to lose a lot of those feelings, and they still happen sometimes. Just a few months ago, Scott and I were sitting around, and we were both talking about, man, how did we not buy Amazon in 2009? We're like, we're so stupid. What are we doing? We love Amazon. I shop from them every day. I've been shopping from them since 1999. How did we not buy Amazon? And then we kind of caught ourselves going, we bought, you're not going to get them all. We had a system. We were trading things that wasn't part of what we were doing. It wasn't accumulating stocks.
It wasn't in your scope maybe at that moment.
Right. It wasn't the scope. So who, kind of as the last question, who would you recommend this course to, this mentorship? Who would you not recommend it for? I think I can say that, and I tell a lot of people it's not for everyone. But in your eyes, who is it really for? Who is it not for?
It's not for beginner traders. They first should do the price action masterclass and the system building masterclass, preferably with coaching from Scott or you.
Yeah.
Because coaching calls are really valuable. It's for the intermediate and advanced trader who feel passionate about trading, but who notice that they're still anxious when they're trading, who have the feeling that they're still doubting about which system to trade, who are not very qualified or not very good at spreadsheets and documenting, as I'm not, so I have to learn that. And in this program,
a lot better. You're becoming, it's getting better and better. And we just talked about it, right? How as you get more fatigued in a session, you start to miss things, but that'll get better and better. And then whenever you switch over to a daily system, your records are going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And it'll be easy. It'll be easy to manage records.
Yeah. Even in 1 hour, the 4 hour systems, it's also easy then.
Yeah.
So intermediate and advanced traders who feel passionate about trading and who really want to do the work themselves. It's not done for you. If you are willing to do the work and to put in hours, you get the greatest value and you get the greatest coaching of Scott. But if you are not prepared to do the work or don't have enough time in your daily schedule, just wait till you have enough time.
What would you say time-wise? We thought it would be time-wise. What do you think? What have you been putting in? We thought it would be about 1 or 2 hours a day. Have you been doing more than that?
I've put in more.
You've put in more. You've put in 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think if you're an advanced trader, I think 1.5 hours per day could do it. But I could make fast progress because after a call with Scott, I immediately practiced myself, and I did the job again on my own, which I practiced with Scott earlier in the day, and that has a very good effect. That's for me the right way to practice. Doing it first with Scott, making mistakes, and then doing it on my own immediately afterwards. So it's
that helps a lot. That's good. That's good feedback. Yeah, that's not something we suggest.
So I think a minimum of 2 hours for intermediate traders like myself is doable. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. No, this was great. So I'm looking forward. We got about 2-3 weeks left in kind of the boot camp part. And then you're going to trade the full system, 10-minute intraday, do that for about a month. And so we'll probably do another check-in around that time once you're going live with it and trading it and practicing it. And then I think the second part of the course is even more appealing to me, which is when you pick your own system or design a system and actually start deploying it live. So we'll check back in, yeah, in a couple weeks. And any last comments before we kind of kill the recording?
Yeah, I also wrote down. I'm more fluent in my trading. I'm more focused.
Mm-hmm.
And about you guys, you really live up to your promise. So I really have to compliment you both.
Good,
Uh,
thank you. That's important.
yeah,
And like we call our students out, call us out if we're not. If we're, not responsive, if we, whatever the case may be, let us know.
yeah. No, really, I have to compliment you. It's
Good, thank you. That's
yeah.
important.
Rest
Yeah.
assured that you have you. I think you, in my opinion, you have the best product here on the market. To say it commercially, um, and you could offer a different product for beginner traders if it's your cup of tea, of course, if you want that. I don't
Yeah.
think it's Scott's cup of tea, but maybe other people, maybe you. But
I've thought
for
about
advanced and
it.
intermediate
Yeah.
traders, this is the best.
Yeah, I've thought about something for beginners, and a lot of people are interested. And this course is kind of with someone who's a little more capitalized and everything else. But a beginner course, maybe sometime next year. I just don't have the time for it now, but maybe sometime next year where it's, this course is for anybody. Will take you. Yeah, I just have to work it out. I don't know what it would look like even. But a lot of people ask for something like that. It's just, yeah, honestly, when we got into it, the first thing Scott and I talked about was we're not going to look at beginners at all. We're going to say
No.
this is for beginners. This is for guys who, you've read Edwards McGee, you've read Reminiscences, you've read maybe Al Brooks, you've seen Linda Raschke, Van Tharp,
Yep.
you've read Market Wizards, the list goes on and on. You've read all these things. You looked at Paul Tudor Jones and seen interviews, and you've done everything. And now it's like, okay, where do I fall in here, right?
Yeah.
What kind of trader am I going to be here?
Yeah.
Because I think beginners have this ability to trade everything. You talk to a beginner, it's like, what are you trading? I trade stocks, I trade options,
Yeah.
futures, forex, cryptos, CFDs. I'm looking at Chinese markets, and you're like, wow. So you're just losing money everywhere. That's correct.
Yeah. And it's 48 hours in a day,
Right.
yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've been there. I used to have my entire account all in on margin when I first started, all options, and then you kind of specialize. And I'm not saying specialize in just one market. There's some guys out there who only trade oil, only trade gold, and we don't do that. We pick a universe, 30, 40 markets, and we trade them. But we have a style, we have a system, one or two systems, and we have that approach. And I think that's what's important for traders. So.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate your time here. Let me kill the recording, and yeah, we'll chat a little more offline.
All
Thank you.
right. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, how do I kill this recording?
Leave me. I
Here's
don't
the
know.
little stop sign.